JD is here. We're going to get started in just a moment. Okay, as soon as I launch the slideshow, we'll get started here. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is JD Wyzolek, and I am the founder of azcollegeplanning.com. Thank you for joining us today. And um, we're going to talk about how to not go broke paying for college. We're going to talk about some different strategies. We're going to talk about why certain things are important and what certain colleges do to attract your attention and get you and your students to apply. What I am going to be talking about tonight is more on a general nature. If you want to talk about your family specific situation, at the end of the presentation, I'll offer an opportunity for you to sign up for a free, no obligation college consultation, and I'll be happy to talk about your family specific situation. If you want that, click on that link or send me an email at the end. If you don't want that, that's fine too. I like to call this talk, You Don't Know What You Don't Know About College, but what you really need to know about college, or how to not go broke paying for college. It all starts with the ranking system. And you've probably seen or heard this college is ranked number one in biology, or this college is ranked number 10 in engineering, etc., etc. The college ranking system is extremely important for the college. So let me explain why. Have you have you asked yourself, why would a college give out a scholarship? Is it because they're generous or kind, or they want a specific student? And the answer is they want a specific student. Okay. When you and your student are applying to colleges are going to ask many questions. One of the questions that they're going to ask is, how will the student impact our rankings? Will the student impact our rankings positive, neutral, or negative? If it's negative, they're just going to flat out reject that student. If it's neutral, well, maybe we'll admit the student and maybe we'll give them some scholarships. If it's positive, if the college looks at a certain student and they determine that that student will have a positive impact on their rankings, that college will do everything in their power to try and recruit that student and offer incentives. And of course, the incentive that we want are scholarships. I love the rivalries that go on between certain colleges. ASU and U of A is one, UCLA and Berkeley is another one. This last year, UCLA knocked Berkeley off the podium and became the number one public national university. We'll see what Berkeley does to try and regain that spot. because UCLA earned that prestigious position of number one, that attracted a lot of attention. And last year they had 149,900 students apply for about 6 or 7,000 freshman seats. And it costs $80 to apply. So if we do the math, 145,000 times $80, that's $11.6 million that was generated just in application fees. So what you need to understand about college is big business. And because application fees bring in tens of millions of dollars, colleges will do anything to manipulate their rankings. I'm going to tell you a handful of stories. Here's a story about Lynn. When Lynn and her dad came in for the free consultation, I asked Lynn this question, and when you come in for the free consultation, I'll ask you this same question. That is, what colleges are on your list? Do you have any dream schools? And Lynn's dad said she's going to NAU because that's all I can afford. And his thought process was in-state is cheaper than any other college. And I said, let's play the game. And playing the game is applying to 6 to 15 colleges, somewhere in that range. 10 is kind of the sweet spot in the middle. And playing the game is also marketing yourself to the college, selling yourself to the college, promoting yourself to the college through different strategies that we'll talk about today, and that. And what we ended up doing was we ended up helping Lynn identify a handful of colleges. We showed her how to promote herself to those colleges. We showed her what activities and clubs to be involved with in school. We helped her with her applications. We helped her with her essays and all that stuff. And she applied to, I don't remember, somewhere around 7 or 8 colleges. And of those, she was admitted to 5 of them. And then 2 of them fell off the wayside for one reason or another. And it came down to these 3 colleges: Willamette University in Oregon, Whitman College in the state of Washington, and NAU in Arizona. Well, the first college that admitted her was Willamette University, and they offered her $25,500 in scholarships per year. And Dad's net cost was about $20,000 per year. Lynn was on cloud 9 for days. Dad, not quite so much. We still got a pretty good gap there. Then the next college that admitted her was NAU, and after scholarships and everything, Dad's net cost was $10,650. And Dad says, I can do that. I'd rather not do that, but I could. And then the last college that admitted her was Whitman in the state of Washington, and they offered her $40,750 in scholarships. And Dad's net cost was $5,000. Here's what's super awesome about this particular scholarship. She got this scholarship all 4 years that she attended Whitman. And of course, she had to maintain a minimum GPA in order to renew that aid package. But this scholarship also covered 2 study abroads. She did one in Peru and one in Japan. Super awesome. Here's the question. Why did this college and those other colleges give her some scholarships? Why did they do that? Because that college needed her. They wanted her. That college determined that she had a positive impact on one or more categories that was ranked that the college values. Yes, she had good grades and some good test scores and stuff, but one category was girl going to a mostly male-dominated major. Don't ask me which one. I don't remember off the top of my head. Another category that she fit into was Arizona kid going to this college in the state of Washington. So now Whitman can go back to the ranking publications and say, we have students from everywhere. We've got students from East Coast and West Coast and this state and that state. We even have students from Arizona. And they can publish that they have geographic diversity. And now I'm really happy to report it's Dr. Lynn. An important question is find out what a college values and then do that. In the case study of Lynn, We instructed her with which activities she should focus on, what colleges to apply to, how to properly showcase herself to the colleges through demonstrated interest, and what to write in her essays and how to follow up. She did all those things that the college valued, and the result was amazing. And I literally have hundreds of examples of that. We're going to learn several acronyms. The first acronym we're going to learn is COA, cost of attendance. And cost of attendance includes everything. That's the all-in number. We want to know what that number is. And that includes tuition, fees, room board, meal plan, student ID card, lab fees, parking pass, books, and more. All of that together, what is that cost? And if you look at the cost of attendance at Arizona State University, the in-state cost for ASU is $37,354. That is for 1 year of college in-state at ASU. And that does include everything. That's the all-in cost. That's tuition, your dorm, your meal plan, books, all of that together. Now, if you're looking at NAU or U of A, they're all hovering around the same price point. NAU is a little bit less by maybe $1,000, but they're all hovering around the same price point of about $37,000 for 1 year. If you haven't visited colleges, please go and visit some colleges. If you live here in Maricopa County, or wherever you live, within a 50-mile, maybe a 60 or 70-mile radius of where you live, what colleges are in that radius? Go and visit those colleges. So here in Maricopa County, we've got 3 colleges. We've got ASU, and Grand Canyon University, and Arizona Christian University. The reason why I'm asking you to go and visit those 3 colleges is because it's not a big time or money commitment. And there are 3 very different types of colleges. ASU is a large public school. Grand Canyon University is a mid-sized private college, and Arizona Christian University is a small private college. And when you visit Arizona Christian University, look at it through 2 lenses. The first lens to look at it is the size of the college. It's about 1,000 students, so it's a small school. And then look at it through the second lens, which is the religious lens. They do require the students to adhere to some religious requirements, such as going to chapel services and such. I'm asking you to go visit those 3 colleges so that when you do go to San Diego, when you look at San Diego State, or you go out to Texas and look at Baylor University, or you go to Chicago and look at University of Chicago, now you've got something you can weigh, balance, compare, and contrast. When you visit a college and when you talk to an admissions recruiter at any college, if you don't walk away with the impression of, wow, that school's amazing, I want to go there, I want to apply there, know that they did a bad job. That is their job, is to sell you on their school. So if you haven't visited some colleges, go to the college's website and in the search bar, type in college visit and sign up for that and physically go and visit the college. One of the categories that's ranked that I think is one of the most ridiculous is most expensive college. And Harvey Mudd College in Los Angeles, they claim one of the top spots as being the most expensive college. And this year, they're hovering just shy of $100,000 for 1 year of college. $98,984 for 1 year at Harvey Mudd. And Harvey Mudd's a great school. NYU, $96,988. And UCLA, out-of-state costs, $80,739. If you really want to scare yourself, do this. Go to the college's website and in the search bar, type in cost of attendance. And it'll bring you to that page. And sometimes they add all the numbers for you. If not, pull out your calculator and add those numbers. So, and that cost of attendance will be the cost for 1 year. So here's how you're going to scare yourself. Take that number and then multiply it times 4 years. And then multiply it again times the number of kids you got. 2 kids, 3 kids, etc. That's enough to give anybody a coronary right there. And have you asked yourself, how in the world are we going to be able to afford it? And I've literally talked to hundreds of families, and these are some of the strategies that they've said as ways to pay for college. And these might be some things that you might be thinking about as well. And the first one that always comes up is private scholarships. My kid's going to get a private scholarship. So let's put a definition on what private scholarship means. That is a scholarship that your student applies for and they win. If your student receives a letter or an email, and that letter says, congratulations, you've won this scholarship, and your student did not apply for it, it's a scam. Especially if that letter says, mail us $100 and we'll tell you which one you've won. Okay. So first, to win a private scholarship, your student has to apply for it, fill out the form, and adhere to whatever the instructions are for that. And if they win that private scholarship, it's portable, meaning they could take that scholarship to Los Angeles and go to Whittier College there, or they could take that same scholarship and go over to Texas and go to Texas Christian University, or they could take it over to Georgia and go to Georgia Tech. It's portable that way. Versus if your student won the Lumberjack Scholarship at NAU, that's only usable at that particular college. Now, of the $135 billion, that's with a B, $135 billion of aid that's available, less than 2% of that consists of these private scholarships. Everybody wants to go after the pennies. I want to go after where the real money is, and the real money is going to be in these three categories. The first category is going to be state funds. We want to maximize the amount of money that we're going to get from the state. The second category is federal funds. We want to maximize the amount of money that the federal government is going to offer. And then the third category is the college's endowment funds. And a college endowment is like a savings account for the college. And the IRS has mandated that the college must spend a percentage of the college's endowment, otherwise they get hit with extra taxes and stuff. Many colleges are wealthy, having millions of dollars in their endowments, and some colleges are just flat rich. Harvard claims the #1 spot as being the wealthiest college with over $40 billion in their endowment. What that means is the interest that $40 billion produces, Harvard could offer every student that is admitted a full ride to go to Harvard. Does Harvard do that? Absolutely not. So we want to go after the bulk of the money, and the bulk of the money is going to be in the college endowment funds. The next strategy as a way to pay for college that parents have told me is my kid's an athlete. My kid's going to get an athletic scholarship. I'm sorry to tell you this, that unless your student is the next NBA, the next NFL, or the next Olympian, the likelihood of getting a full athletic ride, probably not going to happen. Now, if you go to the NCAA's website, the average men's baseball scholarship is $13,000. $13,000 is it. I'm not going to say no to that, but that's not going to cover the full cost at an in-state school, and it's way short, 10% of an out-of-state or a private college. Now, sometimes those men's baseball scholarships, $13,000, according to the NCAA, sometimes that $13,000 is split between 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 students. So if we did get an athletic scholarship, how are we going to fill the gap? And let's keep talking about that. The next way that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is we've saved some money. And I read a statistic that the average family has saved $10,000 for college. Now, if you save that or more than that, then God bless you, you're better than the average. Now the question is, of the money that you did save, how is the financial aid system going to look at that? Are we going to get penalized for saving this money? And there are three buckets of money. The first bucket of money is money that's in the student's name, and that gets assessed at the highest percentage, anywhere from 20 to 25%. The second bucket of money is money that's in the parent's name, and that gets assessed at a lower percentage at about 6%. So sometimes just by rolling over who the owner is, no, the student's not the owner of this product, the parent is the owner, we could potentially qualify for more need-based financial aid. Then there is a third bucket, and that third bucket has an umbrella over it, and that umbrella is the retirement system. And any money that is parked in that category is not assessed. So ideally, we want to have the bulk of our money in a not assessed pile. But JD, what about 529 plans? We have a 529. Well, as soon as you expose that to the college, they're gonna go tag, that's my money. I want it. And they're gonna say we want to split it into quarters, 25% the freshman year, 25% sophomore year, 25 junior, and 25 senior year. I had a family who had $40,000 in their 529 plan, and their student was admitted to a college in California. And as soon as they exposed to the college, we have this 529 of $40,000. They said, tag, that's our money. And they wanted $10,000 the freshman year, and they had actually reduced the aid package by $10,000. Now, if you do have a 529, at the end of our presentation today, sign up for that free consultation. We'll talk about some ideas and some strategies on what to do with that. Here's my disclaimer. Before you move money around or any of that stuff, you need to know what the ramifications are, both positive and negative. Sometimes it's smart to move money, sometimes not. Each family situation is unique and different, and you need to get expert help on determining what's the best case scenario for you and your family. The next strategy that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is we're going to pay as we go, or a payment plan. And there are some colleges that offer payment plans. For example, La Sierra University in Riverside, California, they had a payment plan. And last time I looked at it, it was $75 a month. That was their fee for it, plus whatever the payment was. Okay. Most colleges are going to want you to pay a full semester up front. The fifth strategy that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is we're going to borrow the money. And there's a loan called the PLUS loan, Parent Loan of Undergraduate Students. And that is
I
a
have a excuse me, I have a question.
federally backed loan. And
You
theoretically,
know,
you have a question, sir?
yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, how can you help someone who has gotten a college already, who have been admitted into a college already?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Somebody who have been admitted into a college already.
I'm going to tell some stories about students who've already been admitted.
What?
Oh, or are you asking me if we help students who are already in college?
Yeah, if somebody is already in college, how can you come in to help?
Um, Most of the time, no, because the big scholarships are going to come from students who enter into their freshman year.
First year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is your student
the
currently a
person is
freshman?
the person is in first year already.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help that student.
The person is first year already. The person is in first year already. He just
Yeah.
got admitted. He just got admitted.
So he's a high school senior and is admitted into college. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that later on, but yes, there's a potential that we could help with that.
Yeah. No, I have been trying to get your contact. You're not sending me your contact.
My contact is jd@azcollegeplanning.com. jd at azcollegeplanning.com. All right, I'm sorry, I need to continue with our presentation. So there is a loan called the PLUS loan, and the PLUS loan is for the parents, and the PLUS loan could be the full cost of attendance at that school. So in the case of Stanford being $95,000 for 1 year, Stanford could offer the parents a $95,000 PLUS loan. Please don't do that. Um, I had another family come in for the free consultation, and they wanted to know what the heck they were about to sign for. And they were showing me their award letter. When your student is admitted to the college, you're going to get two things. You're going to get a acceptance letter that says congratulations, you're admitted, or no, you're not admitted. And if you get a no, you're not admitted, there's still some strategy that we can employ to try and reverse that decision. But the second letter is the one that we want, the one that says, yes, you are admitted. And then sometimes on the acceptance letter, sometimes it states on there, we're giving you $1,000 or $5,000 in scholarships or whatever. And anything that is offered on the acceptance letter is not the final offer. After you submit the financial aid forms, and we're going to talk about the FAFSA in a moment, after you submit the financial aid forms, the colleges will get that information and they'll run their calculations, and then they'll send out a second letter, which is called the award letter. And the award letter reads like an invoice. It's going to say these are the scholarships and loans, and these are the grants that are being offered. This is the work study that's being offered, and whatever else is being offered will be listed on that award letter, also called the award offering. Well, this family came in for the free consultation and they wanted to know what the heck they were about to sign for, because some colleges are devious with their wording on the award letter, and it said $25,000 plus. It said plus 25,000. And they're like, hooray, we got a $25,000 scholarship. And I had to tell them, I'm sorry, no, that is not a scholarship, that is a loan. And I'm happy to report they didn't go that route. And you can go to my website and click on testimonials and see exactly what Courtney's mom posted. She said that her daughter got admitted to a private college, and Courtney graduated on time in 4 years and did not take out any student loans, and the parents did not take out any educational loans. That's exactly where we want our students to start their life, is without all that student loan baggage. The sixth strategy that parents have told me as a way to pay for college is we're going to use equity in our home. I won't go into details on that. You know how that works. And then number 7 is liquidate retirement accounts. Please don't do that, because retirement accounts are for retirement. Please do not throw out a college based solely on the sticker price. So let me explain why. Private colleges know that they must compete with in-state costs. And if a college really wants a particular student, because they know that student will make a positive impact on their rankings, that college will do whatever they can to try and recruit that student and then make it financially viable for your student to attend by offering scholarships. And this is one category that we at azcollegeplanning.com, where we at AZ College Planning really excel. And with that is showing the students how to properly present themselves to the colleges so that the college says, yes, we need this student because this student will make a positive impact on our rankings. And we're going to incentivize admission by offering scholarships. An important question to ask each college is, what is the average timeline for your student to graduate from college? How long is it going to take my kid to graduate from your school? And you can go to my website and click on college results and type in the name of any college. It'll bring you to that information and it'll tell you what the stats are. And if we look at ASU, the it's 66%. 66% of the students are taking 6 years to graduate. Why? One reason why it's taking these students so long to graduate is because they try to get into a particular class. I want to get into this 100 level class because I need the 100 level class to get into the 200 level class. And that class is full. And if they have to wait until the next cycle, the next semester, or maybe even worse, the next year for that class to come around, that's going to push the graduation window out. That's one reason. And I do have a strategy on how to get into classes that are full. We can talk about that later on. Another reason, and this is the most prevalent reason, why it's taking students 6 years to graduate on average. And that is because students flip-flop between majors. I'm gonna be a business major. I'm gonna try that. No, architecture, that sounds really cool. I'll do. No, I'm over here. I'm gonna take philosophy. Yeah, I'll be a philosophy major. No, I'm over here. I'm back at the beginning. I'm undeclared. Every time a student changes majors, that pushes the graduation window further and further. So one of the things that we do at AZ College Planning is we help with our award-winning career assessment tool. And we'll plug your student into our assessment tool, and it's going to ask questions. Do you like to do this? Do you like to do that? And it will generate a list of occupations based on how your student answers. And we've gone even one step further, and we came up with an 11-step process on how to research that particular occupation or any occupation so that when your student does go to college, they're more solidified. This is the direction I want to go into, and they're less likely to change their major, and they're more likely to graduate in 4 years or less. And that's our ultimate goal is to get them out of college in 4 years or less with a viable degree where they can go out and earn an income and live whatever lifestyle it is that they want to live and be a positive impact on our community. Here's my story. That's my senior picture. That's me. I think I look about the same, maybe a couple days older. I remember walking into my high school guidance counselor office, and she had a little tiny office. It was like almost like a long hallway with a window at the very back and her desk at the end of the hall. And I walk in there. Hi, JD. Hi, Miss Nuss. How are you? I'm fine. Go ahead and have a seat. I sat down, and she says, JD, you're a good art major. You should be an artist. And I'm sorry, you're a good artist. You should be an art major. And I said, okay, bye. And that's how much time I spent with my guidance counselor. No offense to any guidance counselors, they're overworked and overbooked. I went home and I thought about it for all of about 37 seconds, and I thought, artists don't make any money. I've got to do something else. At that same time, I was a senior in high school. I had a friend who was a freshman in college at Biola University in Los Angeles. And I was talking to him on the phone, and he says, JD, you got to come to the school. It's so awesome. We have the most amazing beach bonfire parties. And the girls here are super cute. And I'm like, okay, I like both of those things. And I asked him, well, do they have a graphics department? And he says, yeah. And I said, dude, I'm in. And that's how much thought went into me picking my career major in college and all that stuff. I ended up going to Biola, and what ended up happening is I got an internship, and I highly encourage your student to get an internship as well. And I got an internship in my junior year. Please don't wait until your junior year to do that. Look for it earlier on, preferably while you're still in high school. And we could talk about how to find internships and all that stuff while you're still in high school in the personal consultation if you'd like to come in for that. Well, I got it. I was talking with my professor, Professor Craig, and he says, JD, there's this internship opportunity that's available. I think you should apply for it. And if you do, well, I'll write your recommendation letter. I applied for it and he wrote it and I got it. And that was in my junior year. And I got an internship at a graphics house and I decided I don't want to do this the rest of my life and had to reset and all that. So again, we at AZ College Planning, we can help students identify what careers to consider so that they can graduate in 4 years or less and get into their profession and earn a decent income and become a productive member of society. Let's move on to the two financial aid forms. The first one is the FAFSA form, and the second one is the CSS profile financial aid form. There's a lot of similarities between the two. FAFSA is a static form, and the CSS profile asks all the same questions on the FAFSA. And what I mean by the FAFSA is a static form. Colleges cannot add or subtract any questions. Whereas the CSS profile financial aid form, colleges can add questions if they choose to do that. Another difference between the two forms is the FAFSA is free to submit, hence the name, Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So FAFSA is an acronym. And the CSS profile, which stands for College Search Services, there is a fee to submit it. And the fee is $25 for the first college and $16 for each additional school. So if your student applies to 3 colleges that are CSS profile schools, it's going to be $57. The CSS profile is administered by College Board. College Board is the entity that creates the SAT test. Yes, please go take the test. Because colleges are reverting back to the old model where they are requiring the SAT test. In fact, last year, Purdue had a blanket statement that said, you will not be admitted if we do not receive a SAT or ACT test score. Another primary difference between the CSS profile and the FAFSA is colleges can add questions. So one of the supplemental questions that colleges can ask, and I've seen this frequently on this form, is what's the make, model, and year of your vehicles? JD, why are they asking me that question? Because if you're claiming that your adjusted gross income is $60,000 and you're driving a 2026 Maybach, those don't match. They're going to start asking more questions and stuff. I've talked to some families and they've told me, well, we make too much money to qualify for aid. So why should we even fill out that form? Okay. Anybody who puts in a chat question, I'll be answering those at the end. Okay. So some families say we make too much money to qualify for any aid. Why should we bother with these forms? And it's part of the game. It's part of the dance. It's another way to demonstrate interest. And I'm not going to emphasize it enough that demonstrating interest is critical. It could be the key decision of getting admitted and getting scholarships or not. I had a family that hired us to help with their student John, and I'll just kind of give you a little bit of background on this particular family. And Dad says we make too much money to qualify for any need-based aid. Why should we even do this? And I said it's part of the game. Let's do it. And we helped him with these forms. And so here's the background on this family: is John's dad made $1.5 million. That was his income. He had $5 million in his checking account, which boggles my mind. Why would you have $5 million in an account where you're only making 0.4% interest? Move it somewhere where we can get better interest. He had $10 million in a brokerage account. He owns several $1 million homes, free and clear. Just a very wealthy family. And according to those numbers, they're not going to get any need-based financial aid at any college anywhere. Well, we helped John apply to colleges. We showed him how to properly promote himself to these colleges. And several of the colleges reached out to him and really liked him. And I don't remember which one it was. It was either Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., or it was George Washington University. One of the two George schools in the D.C. area admitted him. And they looked at John and they're like, yes, we like John because he's going to have a positive impact on our rankings in these categories that we value. But we also like Dad because Dad might he might be a future donor later on. And they ended up giving John a half scholarship of about $30,000 to attend that college, and they were very ecstatic about that. Um, every college that you apply to is going to require the FAFSA form. Some colleges are going to require the FAFSA and the CSS profile financial form. So we've got to find out which colleges your students are going to apply to and which forms, financial aid forms, do these colleges want. Um, certain colleges are notorious for rejecting students if they don't get all the information that they're asking for. I won't tell you which college it is. I'll just give you their initials, USC. So, so USC is notorious for rejecting students if if USC does not receive everything that they are asking for from a student and they don't get it before the deadline. And USC is asking for both the CSS profile and the FAFSA form. JD, why are they asking for that? Because they want to know if we admit you, can mom and dad pay? So wait for it. The number one way to get more money from a college is apply to 6 to 15 colleges and negotiate. If you ask the college if they negotiate, they will flat out tell you, no, we don't. The worst thing that any student can do is apply to one college. Because if the student applies to one college and they are admitted to that one college, other than that college saying, yes, come to our school, what else does that college have to do to get that student to go there? They don't have to compete with anyone. We want them to compete with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 other colleges, and we want them to compete by offering scholarships. So Danielle and her family came in their sophomore year of high school, and they hired us to help Danielle and later on her brother with this college process. And I asked Danielle and her parents, have you visited any colleges yet? And they said, no, we haven't. And Dad says, we're going down to Tucson in a couple weeks. While we're there, why don't we go check out U of A? Take a couple hours off and go visit U of A. I'm like, yes, go do that. And they did. And after Danielle and her parents visited U of A, we had a conversation. And Danielle says, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to U of A. It's awesome. So whoever was the tour guide and the admissions recruiter at that school, they did a fantastic job of selling Danielle and her parents on how amazing that college was. So Danielle says, I'm going to apply to U of A. That's the only school I want to go to. That's the only school I'm going to apply to. And I said, please apply to more than one college. And she agreed. I don't remember how many schools she applied to, 5 or 6 or 7 colleges or so. And we knew that she was going to get admitted to U of A, University of Arizona, based on her grades. We knew that she was going to get in. Well, jump forward to February and March of her senior year of high school, and Dad calls me on the phone and says, Danielle was admitted to U of A. Hey, congratulations. And we just got the award letter, and the award letter is zero. Zero scholarships, zero grants, zero everything. If you want to go to our school, it's going to be $35,000 per year to go there. And Dad says, I don't want to pay that. What do I do? I said, what other colleges was she admitted to? Oh, she's admitted to this college and that college. Did any of those other colleges offer some scholarships? Yes. NAU offered her some scholarships. I said, great. Take the NAU award letter, go down to U of A and say, NAU gave me this. What can you guys do? And not only did U of A beat the NAU award letter, they also gave Danielle an iPad. Danielle was really excited about the iPad. Dad was more excited about the scholarships. So again, if you ask the college if they negotiate, they will tell you, no, we do not. And that is not true. They will negotiate. Here's a few examples of our results. McConnell got admitted to, he applied to 9 colleges. He was admitted to all of them. And we showed him how to promote himself to the colleges. And we encouraged him to take the SAT and ACT multiple times to get the best score that he could. and he ended up getting great scholarship packages from multiple schools. And NYU, they wanted him the most, and they gave him the most advantageous scholarship package, $65,820 in scholarships per year. Parents' net cost $8,914. If we multiply that 65,000 times 4 years, that's $263,000 is what he was offered over the course of 4 years that he attended that particular college. Why? That's the question. Why did he receive that scholarship package? We need to reverse engineer it. And the reason why is he had some good grades and good test scores and stuff, but he applied to NYU not as a theater major. If we look at NYU, they have a fantastic theater program, and 40% of the students who are attending NYU are theater majors. And they're going, we got way too many of those. We're lopsided. We need students in other majors and other disciplines. And McConnell fit that category. He applied as a real estate development major, and they looked at him and said, Tag, yes, we want that. I love to ask this question. What is good? And this is Rohit's story. What is good is getting admitted to a college. What's better than getting admitted? Of course, getting a scholarship. What's better than getting a scholarship? Getting full tuition scholarship. When you talk to your friends and other students and they tell you they got a full ride scholarship at an in-state school such as ASU or U of A or NAU, be very skeptical. What they probably got was a full tuition scholarship. And full tuition at ASU and NAU is about $12,000 to $14,000. And we've got a sticker price of $36,000. Where's the remaining gap going to come from? What's better than getting a full tuition scholarship? Yes, getting the coveted full ride. And when your student earns a full ride, what parents are going to pay is they're going to pay for transportation, getting your student from home to the college, whether it be gas money or an airplane ticket or bus fare or something like that. That's all that um, parents are going to pay for full ride scholarship. What's better than getting a full ride scholarship? And here's my example, and I'll read it to you. All tuition and mandatory fees for 4 years, $4,000 per semester cash stipend, a $1,500 per semester on-campus housing stipend, and up to $6,000 one-time award for international study abroad. So what's better than getting a full ride? Getting paid to go to college. So when we add all these numbers together and we subtract that from the COA, the cost of attendance, he was netting $3,000 per year. So what's better than getting a full ride? Getting paid to go to college. Does this happen? Yes, it does. And if your student wants to aspire for something like that, please give me a call. Sign up for that free consultation, and I'll be happy to talk about your family specific situation in that. Nicole got admitted to WashU and $45,000 in scholarships per year. 11 grand was parents' net cost. We did some things strategically so that she could capitalize on all that aid. And we multiply that times 4 years. That's $181,000, $860 in scholarships over the course of 4 years. Nicole is an example of a student who did the work, was coachable, followed through, and got these amazing results. Here's another story about Bruce. Got admitted to University of Notre Dame. And dad said that he thought my tagline, it could be cheaper to go to an out-of-state college than attend an in-state school, was just a sales pitch until we did it for his son. And then we did it again for Bruce's sister. So Bruce's dad, net cost for Bruce to attend Notre Dame was $13,000. And if we multiply his scholarship over a course of 4 years, $204,000 in scholarships. And then again, we did it for his sister, Adele. She went to TCU and I got $216,820 in scholarships over the course of 4 years. But JD, are all of these students super brainiacs, have perfect GPA, 4.0 GPA, have a perfect 1600 SAT score, or a perfect 36 ACT score? The answer is no. Here is Elle's story. I'm not going to tell you her full name. She got admitted to Spring Hill College in Alabama, and after scholarships and everything, it was less expensive for her to attend Spring Hill than it would have been for her to attend an in-state college. And she had a 2.3 GPA, and she did get a academic scholarship of a few dollars for her GPA. If her GPA was higher, her scholarship would also been higher. But she also got some scholarships for community service and leadership, and we add all those together. That gave her an amazing scholarship package. So you don't have to have perfect grades or perfect test scores. You just have to target the right colleges. So that's where we at AZ College Planning can help. So we helped her identify this particular college, and Spring Hill looked at this student and said, yes, we like this student, we need this student, and we'll entice her to come to our college by offering some scholarships. JD, what about the military academies? Yes, we can do that as well. When Tanner came into the office, he said, I want to fly jets for the Air Force. I'm going to only apply to the Air Force Academy. And I said, please apply to all the military academies. And we had several meetings. And in one of his meetings, Tanner said to me, JD, I've been doing some research, and the minimum ACT score for the Air Force Academy is 24. I got a 25. What do you think? I said they're gonna throw your application in the trash because you're just barely above the minimum. So we plugged him into our program called Beat the Test. And in the Beat the Test program, we show students how to beat the test. Every SAT, ACT, and AP test is a standardized test. Because it is a standardized test, it has to follow a pattern. So we show students how to identify those patterns. And he ended with a 29 ACT score, got admitted to the Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York. And when they were handing out assignments, he took the assignment for the Air Force Academy and is flying jets for the Air Force. I love the story about Jonathan. When Jonathan and his parents came in after we had been working with him for several years, it was his spring of his senior year, and we were reviewing all the colleges that he was admitted to. And the college that kind of rose to the top was George Fox University outside of Portland, Oregon, which is a private school. And Jonathan and his parents and I were having a conversation, and his parents said, we are willing to pay for you to go to college. We're going to pay X for you to go to college. Anything above that, that's going to be on you. Scholarships, grants, loans, whatever else. And everything that was offered, the scholarships and grants that was offered, plus the amount of money the parents were willing to spend for Jonathan to go to college, we were $5,000 short. And Jonathan says, I've got a great idea. I'll call the college and I'll defer admission. Yes, you can do that at most every college. And deferred admission means you fill out the appropriate paperwork, the deferral form, and the college will hold your spot for 1 year, and you can do whatever it's sometimes called the gap year. So you'll do whatever you need, and then a year later you'll attend the college. So Jonathan says, I'll defer admission, and I'll go get a job. I'll save up $5,000, and then I'll go to college. I'm like, then what? You'll work a year, go to college for a year, take another year off, save up another 5,000, work another year, leapfrog it, and then take 8 years to graduate? No. Jonathan, here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to call your admissions recruiter. Don't email, call them on the phone. You know who your admissions recruiter is, right? So now I'm asking him loaded questions because we had already instructed him on how to find who his admissions recruiter is. He says, oh, yeah, I know who that is. I said, call them up and say this. Thank you for admitting me. Thank you for giving me some scholarships. I really appreciate it. And from the scholarships that you're offering, plus what my parents are willing to spend, I'm $5,000 short. What can we do? And poof, magically another $5,000 scholarship appeared. And Jonathan graduated from that college in 4 years, not 8. Cole went to La Tech. He got 100% of tuition plus extra. Chad went to Vandy. He got $231,000 over the course of 4 years. And when I was having a conversation with him and his mom said, please don't encourage him to apply to Vandy. And I said, let's play the game. And the reason why mom said that is because we can't afford that college. Well, the long story short is he got $231,000 over the course of 4 years. And I got a very nice email from Chad's mom after that. Another student went to TCU, Texas Christian University. He graduated 100% debt free. He was offered $212,000 in scholarships. That's not what I'm super excited about with this particular student. What I am excited about is he used the Career Center at TCU to get internships. And from that, that launched him into landing a really great job with a financial institution in Denver, Colorado, and is making some really good money uh, at that college. Uh, what about in-state schools? Yes, we can help out with in-state schools as well. Um, Trevor graduated 100% debt-free from NAU. He was a student who was coachable, followed through on and got the results. So it doesn't matter in-state, out-of-state, private colleges. There are specific strategies that can be employed for all of these colleges and graduate 100% debt-free or as close to debt-free as possible. This is exactly where we want our students to start their lives without that student loan baggage. And I literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these examples. Jared was admitted to IIT, Illinois Institute of Technology, $159,000 in scholarships over the course of 4 years. We appealed with another student at Loyola Chicago, and they gave us an extra $2,000 on top of the $28,000 that they were already offering. So our appeal was worth two, four, six, $8,000. That's pretty good for writing a simple letter asking for more money. I want to help tell your student's success story. And this is how we're going to do it. These are the services that we provide. We provide one-on-one student meetings, and those one-on-one personal meetings are going to be personalized, compassionate guidance with motivating support that keeps your student on track and confident in their college journey. So we'll have one-on-one meetings. We'll also have a couple parent meetings. The parent meetings will be more on the financial side, talking to you about your financial numbers and offering some strategies on how to maximize all aid. And we have a variety of different classes. I already mentioned the Beat the Test class. We have a How to Study class. We have a promotion and influencer class that's coming up. We have the resume class that's coming up. And then we also have an essay class that is coming up in June. And in that's going to be a 3-day class. And in that 3-day class, we will fill out the college application in the class. We will work on our essay and finalize our essay in the class and finalize our resume in the class and have everything ready to go so that when applications open in August, all your student has to do is log in, double check everything, copy and paste their essay, upload their resume, click submit, and pay the fee, and then enjoy the rest of their senior year. If you would like to come in for a complimentary, no obligation college consultation, please click on the link or send us an email. My email is jd@azcollegeplanning.com, jd@azcollegeplanning.com. And please include a daytime phone number that you can be reached at, and then also include your student's high school graduation year. One more example. I got this text message from Noah, and he said, I got into Georgia Tech. Thank you for the 10-week plan that you gave me. It helped me get into my dream school, which means a ton. I'll be attending Georgia Tech in the fall, and I got $32,000 in scholarships. It was the best aid offer I got outside of ASU. Was it worth this family to hire us? Yes, it was. You only get one shot at getting college right, so don't leave it to chance. We are the nation's leading experts in admission and financial aid and guiding families with proven results since 2007. And when you and your student come in, I will be very, very frank with you, and I will say, yes, we can help you, or no, we can't help you. If I cannot help you, I will point you in the right direction. If I say, yes, I can help you, then I already know that if your student follows our plan, your student's going to get some incredible scholarships and get admitted into some really great colleges. So if you would like to explore how we can make a real measurable difference with college admission and college scholarships, please send me an email, jd@azcollegeplan.com, or click on the link, um, and include your name, a daytime phone number that you can be reached at, and I'll give you a call and we'll schedule we'll put a time on the calendar and include your student's high school graduation year. And I'll reach out to you to schedule that free, no obligation college consultation. We have virtual meetings and we also have in-office meetings. And my office is on Scottsdale Road near the McCormick Train Park, if you're familiar with that area. Um, let's see. I don't see any. Oh, here's a question. How much is my services? It depends on what your need is. If you want to attend one class, it's $197. If you want to go for the full service package, it depends on which full service package that you want. We've got one that is 2,000, one that is 5,000, another that is 8,000. And when I take on a student for any one of those packages, I already know that your student's going to get twice that in scholarships, so we've just kind of paid for ourselves. If you, how much you charge for, I just answered that question. Um, so if you do have any other questions, I do want to cut this. We're a couple minutes over. If you do have any other questions, please send me an email, jd@azcollegeplan.com. And if you would like a free, no obligation college consultation to see how we can help you, send that email to jd@azcollegeplan.com. Thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of your evening.